Hey everyone, Roman from Tenjin here. Today we're gonna talk about the hottest topic in the industry, which is iOS 14.5. I created a poll for this talk. It's called "Is there life after iOS 14.5 for small developers?" I think I just want to learn your opinion. We already have some votes for that one, but I want to learn everyone's opinion on that, and especially for small developers. Yeah, that's it for the organizational stuff. We'll look at the results after the talk, and also feel free to write questions during my talk. I'll have a 10 minutes window at the end when I'll answer all of the questions. Cool. I'm starting. So this is like $1 million question, like either alive after iOS 14.5. We've been talking about it for almost a year because for the past like at least 8 years, there are no changes in the mobile industry like the changes of iOS 14. It's already live. It went live on the 26th of April. So we will already look at some of the data today. But like, let me introduce myself and tell you what I do. So basically, my name is Roman. I'm marketing director at Tenjin. Tenjin, we provide tools and trainings for the app developers that want to scale their apps. And for the past half a year, for sure, iOS 14 and the preparation for iOS 14 was a sole focus for the company. That includes both like products and training. So this is like our secret sauce. We not only provide our customers with the tools. So for example, we are very well known for attribution and LTV, ad revenue LTV for the hyper casual game developers. But also we teach our customers how to use them. And with iOS 14, we needed to learn ourselves and teach our customers a lot of more things. And this, I love this graph. So when I heard about iOS 14, I was like in shock, and I went through all of these like 7 stages, starting from shock and denial, and now hopefully we're at the problem solving stage. But we'll talk about it today, of course. So here is the structure for this talk. At first, I'll cover the basics. So what it is, why does it matter? Then I'll show you some exclusive data that I have. And at the end, I'll share you with my personal advice and some of the insights that you can do now. So this is not exaggeration. So iOS 14.5 is shaping a future of the internet. Everyone is talking about it, like Financial Times, Wall Street journals, all of the like big newspapers. iOS 14.5 is a big topic. Not only because of the how we promote and distribute mobile apps, but because it also affects the privacy of the end user, right? If you never heard about what it is, I recommend you to watch this like small video. I left the link in the our panel. I also probably drop all of the links that I'll mention today in the group chat here. But it's like 6 minutes, and it gives you a perfect picture about what's happening on the high scale, like basically how Apple is fighting Facebook over these changes. Like, yeah, so I definitely recommend to watch that to understand better what's going on. So, and now in my like words, what's happening? Now users that has iOS 14.5 will get this pop-up that asking them, either allowing or not allowing to track themselves. For user, it means that if they click not to track, it means they'll still continue to see advertisement. This is very important because some people think that, oh, if I not to track, I'll stop seeing advertisement. This is not correct. They'll just stop receiving personalized advertisement. So if I like NBA, I'll stop receiving NBA advertisement, right? I'll get the advertisement of different plans or something that irrelevant for me, right? That's one. And for the advertisers, it means the users that clicked on not ask app not to track. That would mean that the advertisers cannot measure how much they've earned from this user. And this is basically a fundamental of how we measure the effectiveness of the advertisement. We looked at the LTV of the campaign and we understood if we were profitable or not. And now we're not only can do that if user didn't allow us to track them, we can't do and cannot use any tracking methods that have been used in the past. And that's, I'm giving the IDFA example here. This is like ID of the device, but there are more tracking methods and they're all banned now if user has not allowed to track. Important thing here that you can still show your own pop-up, like well-designed and maybe with some sort of like explanation why it's important for your app to keep track of the user. However, there are like a certain guidelines. So you are not allowed, for example, to say, oh, allow me to track you, or you won't get the access to some app content, for example. So it's really strict now. So this one, the one that I have on my screen at the moment, this app was not allowed to be published on the App Store because of this screen. I see that just like with App Store optimization, more people starting to figure out what sort of pop-ups to show to increase the ATT opt-in rates. So basically a ratio of users that said, okay, I'm allowing you to track myself. At this moment, I've just checked the data yesterday, only 11% of users has agreed to be tracked. So they have this like ATT opt-in. It's super small. It's like nothing. Therefore, there is a new attribution framework, which is privacy friendly, and it's a product of Apple. It's called SCAD Network. You'll hear this name like more and more often, but basically, I think all of the major ad networks has already integrated it, and more ad networks will integrate it. Now let's look at some other data that I have prepared for you today. Like $1 million question is like, how will my data change with this iOS 14.5? And at the moment, I've checked all of the major KPIs like ad spend, RPDAO, CPI, ad revenue. There are no significant changes. And the explanation for that is that only 9% of the users has updated to iOS 14.5. However, it doesn't mean that everything will stay the same during this period of time. It only means that we have a little bit more time before chaos. there are different like speculation what's going to happen. Some people say like the CPIs will stay the same, ad revenue will go down. Some people say ad revenue will go down a bit and the CPI will go down too. So it will be like a fair deal and nothing will change. But we'll see. It's not like we can say definitively at the moment what's going to happen. Again, like we'll need to wait by my calculations and by the analytics that Flurry has provided us here. We'll need to wait until the end of May, right? So here the Flurry looks at the adoption rate of iOS 14.3, which is similar to iOS 14.5, and you see a correlation, right? So we are now at the week 2 and we have 9%, and the previous version had 8% at the week 2. So at the week 5, and we should get around 50%. So that's roughly end of May. And this is a like important point to remember, because again, like at that moment, everything will change. So I have like 3 recommendations based on that. The first one is that if you have an app, I don't recommend you to publish it during the end of the month of May, or at least not scale the advertisement of it, because you can get into the trap of false positive. Now you have 1 KPIs for this app, and after all of the changes, it will completely change, and you'll think maybe something went wrong with your app, or maybe with your advertising channel. But in the reality, everything has changed, right? So let's say Facebook is not targeting the same users as it used to. So you can't really compare apples to apples. So my advice here is just to wait, look at the data of your own app, of your advertising activity, look at the data that others are providing. And basically based on that, prepare to this new reality and plan your next product launch. Second one is a SCAD network. This is like a completely different beast from what we've seen in the past. I've provided an example of information that you receive as a part of like a SCAD network. There are like 2 key concepts that are important here, so-called postback timer and conversion values. Postback timer means you need to send an event that shows that this user is valuable to you in the first 24 hours, or you have to wait much longer. This is oversimplified explanation. Again, I'll send you a link where you can read about it in more details, but that's the idea. So for example, if I have a puzzle game, it's really not likely that the user will make a purchase, in-app purchase, within this 24 hours. So I can't really have a signal that I can send. On the other hand, subscription apps have like a trial. They have like a trial start event that they can send, and it's more or less okay for them, right? So everyone will need to figure out what events to send in this like new environment. And here is an example for hyper-casuals. We basically recommend that to our customers, right? So for hyper-casuals, there are like 3 options depending on how much resources do you have and how effective do you want to be with that. It's game sessions. So basically you send the users the amount of sessions that user had, ad impressions, how many impressions did you serve them, and ad revenue, how much have you earned from showing ads to them. This is all possible. It's just like a different level of complexity. Yeah, and we basically teach our customers how to do that. Moving on, the next thing is you need to learn how to analyze the data in a different way. So this is like a huge table. I'll share a link afterwards with an explanations, but I just want to draw your attention to not available icons. That basically means in the past that was available and now it's not. So let's say in the past you could have seen how much a certain creative or a certain campaign has earned money for you. You could see its ROI, you could see its LTV, but with SCAD network, you can't anymore. Therefore, you need to figure out in new ways how you analyze your advertising. And I have like a small tip for you here too. And the tip is country dimension. I already know like a small, medium-sized studios that are using that. So basically, they're launching a campaign for a certain country, and even though the data per campaign is not available in the SCAD network, they can see that their performance in this country hasn't increased. Like overall, they see an uptick in the ad revenue. That means that they can double down in the ad networks for this country. And there will be more new ways to analyze data. In the coming month, I'm sure we'll know more and more about successful case studies, how people do that. Let's jump into the summary again. iOS 14.5 is shaping the future of internet. That's not exaggeration. It will touch everyone. If you're a publisher, developer, it might create an opportunity for developers that want to be a publisher, right? Because basically iOS 14.5 put everyone in the same footing. Because everyone has the same tools right now. Now, the second thing, it's hard to predict anything with the data that we currently have, because not a lot of users has installed iOS 14.5, but this will change. And by the end of May, we'll see a lot of changes in the main marketing KPIs, like CPI, ad revenues, amount of spend, and so on. Lastly, 3 pieces of advice for me. Keep calm, analyze your data, be extra cautious doing anything in May because everything might break. 2, figure out SCAD network and conversion values. This is the future. I advise not to postpone and like seriously dedicate some time and learn its capabilities. Finally, think and brainstorm with your team. How can you analyze the data, like with the data from SCAD network? I gave you an example with country, but I'm sure there'll be more things that can be analyzed. Even though SCAD network provides less data for advertisers than it used to be, counterintuitively, you'll need more data just from different sources to figure out how to promote your app. That's it on the main part of the talk. I'll be happy if you reach out to me, say hi. I left all the social medias here. If you're interested in about our product, if you're not confident about what to do with iOS 14, you can always write an email to us at Tenjin. You can reach out to me personally on the platform or using these contacts. Now I'll check the results of our poll. Okay, the poll says that there is a life after iOS 14.5 for small developers. So 65% says yes, 35% says no. In my opinion, yeah, you never know. That's honest and quick answer. But the thing is, I feel like this will create more opportunities for sure, because like big publishers build their whole infrastructure around old technology. Now there is a new technology and everyone basically starting from the same. Yeah, but we'll still need to monitor the data and see how it goes. Maybe hyper casuals will succeed, maybe subscriptions, maybe all of them, or maybe not. So this is the best time to read all of the analytics, and of course look at your own data. Yeah, that's it for me, guys. It was a pleasure. Yeah, I'll see you later on the platforms. Cheers.